In this session, we'll discuss about the previous year OPSC polity questions, that is from 2006 to 2021. Okay. In this session, we'll discuss around 25 questions, and in next 3 sessions, I'll try to complete all the questions that have been asked in OPSC in its prelims. Fine.
Okay.
So why do we need to solve the previous year prelims questions? Because by solving the previous year prelims questions only, we can know which topics are important and in which topics we should give more emphasis on. Okay. So shall we start with our session?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. In this session, we'll discuss about the previous year OPSC polity questions. That is from 2006 to 2021. Okay. What is the need of solving the previous year question? As I have already said, there is a Chinese saying which says crossing the river by touching the stones. You are going to appear on examination. For that, the previous year questions and the syllabus are your eyes and ears. Okay. Only after solving the previous year questions, you can point out which topics are important, which topics are not. Because in polity, you can find roughly around 70 chapters are there in Lakshmikant. You don't have to read from cover to cover. Okay. So this is the trend of polity questions that has been asked in previous years. A total of 167 questions have been asked till now. If you see the weightage for every year, it is around 20%. And if you are a bit careful, you can score almost full marks in polity questions because these are conceptual questions and the level of difficulty of OPSC is from easy to moderate. Okay, it is not that difficult. So if you have conceptual understanding, you can very well solve almost all questions of polity, and that can fetch you a very good mark because you are not sure of the current affair questions. You are not sure of its pattern, but for polity, you can very much do that. See, this is the trend line of polity. So as you can see, in last year around 23 questions were asked, and that is our weightage, almost 20% every year. Okay, and your focus should be that you should score full marks in these questions. Is it clear? Students, are you listening to me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is the chapter-wise distribution. From my very first class itself, I have told you there are a few chapters in which we have to read between the lines, and there are a few chapters which we can skip altogether. And the basic motto of discussion of previous year questions is to point out those chapters. See, in historical background, a total of 8 questions were asked. Making constitution, around 4 questions. See, this chapter, silent feature of constitution, it is such a small chapter, but around 13 questions were asked from it, roughly about 2 questions every year. Okay. And this one, fundamental right. These are all the very important chapters of Lakshmikant, which you need to read thoroughly. Okay. DPSP, then amendment to the constitution. This is also a very small chapter, but it has got a very good weightage. This one, fundamental rights, historical background, center-state relations, precedent, parliament. This is by far the most important chapter from prelims perspective. You need to be very thorough about this chapter. Okay, you need to read every line of this chapter. This is very important. Then see Panchayati Raj, such a small chapter, maybe around 8 to 10 pages, but see its weightage, almost 2 to 3 questions every year. Panchayati Raj and municipality, almost 3 questions every year. Next, this one, see Niti Aayog. You just have to read, I think, not more than 2 pages in that chapter, and this is the weightage. Okay. Anti-defection law. This is also very important. These are some public policy. This is not there in Lakshmikant. In some years, they have asked some questions from governance, but I have covered them in this public policy chapter. Okay. And CIC. This chapter mostly RTA related questions I have segregated in this CIC chapter. Okay. Is it fine? ଏବେ ବୁଝି ପାରୁଛ ତ previous questions ର pattern ସବୁ କଣ ଅଛି?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
अच्छा तो
Sir,
हमको
pressure group
yes pressure group रो भी ଗୋଟେ question
sir,
sir. Sorry.
Okay, sir.
Can you speak again? The elections, electoral reforms, and election commission. We can club them all together, and around 5 questions were asked, roughly 1 question a year. Okay. This is the pattern of our examination. Till now, around 167 questions were asked from 40 chapters of Lakshmikant, and out of them, around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, around 14 chapters were important. Okay. So that's our basic aim should be to cover these 14 chapters initially. Okay. And after that, we should go for other chapters. Is it fine? So let us start our discussion. Right from historical background chapter. I've segregated the questions chapter wise. Okay. And from the very first chapter itself, I will start my discussion. Okay. In this class, I will cover the first 3 chapters. Okay. Historical background. We have covered this chapter extensively in our first 3 classes, right? I think there should not be any doubt about this chapter, and you should be very well prepared to answer any kind of question that has been asked in UPSC, OPSC, or any other examination. Okay. If you just follow those 3 lectures, those are more than sufficient. I have collected all the information from all the relevant information from all the sources. Okay. So let us start. Which of the following act introduced bicameral legislature at the central level?
19 sir 19
19.
1909.
All the students, please participate. Only if you participate, you can remember the things. Don't be a passive learner, be an active learner. So what is it? What is the answer? It is
1999.
the Act of 1919, right? This 1919 Act has introduced bicameralism. What do you mean by bicameralism?
So 2 houses.
Two
Yes.
houses in Lok Sabha and Rajya
Lok
Sabha.
Sabha, Rajya Sabha.
Yes, lower house and upper house. That is known as bicameralism. And direct elections in the country. This is the first time the people of India have participated directly in the election of the legislators. And what is another provision? What is another important provision of Government of India Act of 1919?
Diarchy.
Yes, diarchy.
Provincial diarchy.
Diarchy. Yes. And what about Indian Council Act of 1909?
Montego Chelmsford.
Communal representation.
Parliamento.
Representative, sir.
Separate electorate.
Communal
It's the
representation
most
for
important
Muslims, sir.
provision. That is the most important provision of this act. And what about Government of India Act of 1935?
Federal structure.
For abolition of diarchy in province.
Provincial autonomy.
Yes.
Three list sir ହେଇଥିଲା जो हमरो
Yes.
federal list provincial
Okay.
list.
From this act onwards, the provinces have derived their powers directly from the crown. Okay. Okay. So, Indian Legislative Council was replaced by bicameral legislature consisting of an upper house, that is Council of State, and lower house, Legislative Assembly. Majority members of both houses were chosen by direct elections, and they are known as non-official members. Fine. Have you all gone through our previous lectures, or is there anyone who haven't watched our previous lectures? समस्त previous lecture हमर जो तीनटा करजे समस्ते देखि छथि कि ना केही अछंती जे माने
Yes, sir.
ओके कहना से सब लेक्चर्स मु एथरे एते एलाबोरेटली हिस्टोरिकल बैकग्राउंड विषय रे लेखिनी काहे कि ना से सब एथरे हम बहुत ही एलाबोरेट डिस्कस करिचे राइट
Yes, sir.
ओके तो मु समस्त एडवाइस करबी कि से लेक्चर सीरीज टा को डेफिनेटली देखिबा पय कारण सेथरे बहुत बडे सोर्सेस रो मु इंफॉर्मेशन पिक करिकि रखितिली जोटा कि नॉर्मल लक्ष्मीकांत रे भी अवेलेबल नाही ओके और बहुत सारे प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चंस आई थिंक अराउंड 40 प्लस क्वेश्चंस वी हैव डिस्कस्ड राइट
Yes, sir. Yes.
okay next which act did change the designation of Governor General of Bengal to Governor General of India?
Charter Act 1833.
Option B sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Option.
Very good. And what about Regulating Act of 1773? What did it do?
Sir,
Governor General of Bengal.
Governor of Bengal to the Governor General of India na kon sir.
Governor of Bengal to Governor General of Bengal. Now what about
Governor General sir. Governor
Act of-
General of Bengal.
what about Government of India Act of 1858?
Sir, Viceroy.
Yes, Governor General to Viceroy. And who was the first Viceroy of India?
Lord Canning, sir.
Who was the
Lord
first
Canning.
Governor General of India?
Last को से Lord Canning sir. Last Governor General, first
Bentinck.
Viceroy.
William Bentinck. William Bentinck.
Yes. Very.
Sir,
William Bentinck, sir.
Who was the first Governor General of Bengal?
Warren
Lord
Hastings.
Clive.
Warren Hastings.
Warren Hastings. So the correct answer is B. It made Governor General of Bengal as Governor General of India and vested with him civil and military powers. This act created for the first time Government of India having authority over the entire territory possessed by British in India. Lord William Bentinck was the first Governor General of India. Can anyone tell me the other provisions of 1833 Act? 1833 Act ର ଅଲଗା provisions ଗୁଡାକ କଣ ଥିଲା?
sir ए जो ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी रो करा हैतला sir तर मोनोपोली जो एंड करा हैतला एवं
चाइना ପାଇଁ monopoly.
sir,
तो
Total monopoly
Monopoly
abolish ହେଇଥିଲା.
1830 end ହେଇନି. Okay. East India Company has become a purely administrative body. Okay.
और sir
Monopoly କେବେ end ହେଇଥିଲା? Okay.
13 day.
1833 sir 100%
ଚାଇନା ସହ 13 ରେ
100?
ହେଇଥିଲା କିନ୍ତୁ
Fine.
total monopoly 33.
No, total monopoly 33 रे actually तार आउ commercial function आउ किछि रहिलानी. Okay. सेटा गोटे administrative body हे गला. Right? Next.
Sir, 1858 रे total
1858 रे
monopoly
East India Company ही abolish हे गला. आ तार presidency किछि रहिलानी. Okay.
सर एथिरे कंप्लीट सेंट्रलाइजेशन हिला.
Yes, very good. Complete centralization हेतला. Governor General of India under Governor of Madras और बॉम्बे रहिला सेमानकर कोनोसी legislative power रहिला. Which of the following aimed at providing federal structure for India?
सर गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया 1930.
D 1935.
Can anyone explain me what is the federal structure?
सेंटर अंडर स्टेट रहिबो.
ना गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया 1935 रे कौन फेडरल स्ट्रक्चर था? फेडरल स्ट्रक्चर फर्स्ट सेंटर अंडर स्टेट रुहेनी हला.
सर प्रोविंशियल
फेडरल लिस्ट या प्रोविंशियल लिस्ट सर डिवाइड करा हैतला अलग अलग सर.
सर प्रोविंस को किछि पावर दिया हबो.
सर बाइकैमरलिज्म इंट्रोड्यूस हेतिला ऑल
Like,
इंडिया
तो
फेडरेशन
1919 रे इंट्रोड्यूस हेतला.
सर अबोलिश डायर की अबोलिश करा हिथिला और प्रोविंशियल ऑटोनॉमी दिया
ना
हिथिला.
ठीक अछि मु को फेडरल स्ट्रक्चर टा कोन थिला?
सर ऑल इंडिया
फेडरल
फेडरेशन
स्ट्रक्चर सर ये थिला
Yes.
ऑल इंडिया फेडरेशन
Yes.
सर.
Yes, very good. किए कहला फर्स्ट किए कहला ऑल इंडिया फेडरेशन? I think both of you. मु जानि परनी ना ऑल इंडिया फेडरेशन थिला फेडरल स्ट्रक्चर आ ऑल इंडिया फेडरेशन कोन थिला?
एटा लिस्ट हेतला सर. ए जो फेडरल लिस्ट हेतला प्रोविंशियल लिस्ट हेतला.
माने चाहिए
ना ऑल इंडिया फेडरेशन नो कोन फीचर्स थिला?
states are absolute free to join माने ब्रिटिश इंडिया रे
ना प्रीवियस ईयर क्लास गुडा को भलो से तार तो देखि ना हो. ओके हम स्ट्रांगली एडवाइस करबी कि प्रीवियस ईयर क्लास गुडा को भलो से देखिबा पे.
हां सर रेसिडुअल पावर दिया हेतला हमर भाई श्री.
Residual power has nothing to do with All India Federation. Okay. This Government of India Act of 1935 has envisaged an All India Federation, which would have consisted the British Indian provinces, Chief Commissioner provinces, and the princely states. This is the structure of All India Federation. Okay. Because around 40% territory of India were ruled by native princes. Okay. And the All India Federation would have consisted this British Indian provinces, all chief provinces, and Indian states. Can anyone tell me what is this Chief Commissioner provinces? Chief Commissioner provinces कौन के कहि परिवे कि? It has resemblance to Union territory of present time. Okay. एगुडा को ब्रिटिशर्स माने डायरेक्टली रूल करथिले कि इलेक्टिव रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स नथिले दारो. ओके एंड दिस ऑल इंडिया has this all India federation come into picture? All India federation टा फॉर्मेशन हेइथिला कि एक्चुअली ना हे नथिला?
नहीं सर हे नथिला. प्रिंसली स्टेट को जॉइन करना थिले सेथि.
Yes, native princes माने जॉइन कर नथिले काइना ऑल इंडिया फेडरेशन होवा पे देयर वर टू कंडीशनलिटीज. फर्स्ट allotment of 52 seats. Okay. So around 104 seats were allocated to princely states. Okay. So around 52 legislators should agree to join this federation. Okay, All India Federation. And the constituencies represented by them should be more than 50% of the population of the princely states. Fine. एई दिटा कंडीशन के फुलफिल हेइ नथिला कि प्रिंस स्टेट रा आर मोर देन 52 मेंबर्स जॉइन करे दरकार और से माने जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसी बिलोंग करूथबे सेटा मोर देन 50% पॉपुलेशन होबा दरकार. ओके ये तो से दिटा कंडीशन फुलफिल हलानी से पे सेंट्रल लेवल रे टिल 1946 गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया एक्ट ऑफ 1919 अनुसार फॉर्मेशन माने स्ट्रक्चर थिला. 1946 पर स्ट्रक्चर कोन थिला के कहि परिबे कि? What was the structure of central government after 1946? এটা ক্যাবিনেট মিশন প্ল্যান অনুসারে করা হয়েছিল and that was termed as interim government. Okay, interim government. Okay, ঠিক আছে. Next, the East India Company rule in India was abolished in the year
47.
58 স্যার
Sir, 1858.
India Company
58.
So what is the tenure of East India Company rule? Can anyone tell me? কেবেঠু কেবে East India Company rule কলা
15 years.
না না কেবেঠু East India Company rule কলা
আর 1757
Sir,
ରୁ
1773
1857
to 1858.
1757 ସେମାନେ unofficially rule କରିଥିଲେ, officially ମୁଁ କହୁଛି.
Sir, 1773
1772 ରୁ 1858.
ରୁ 1858.
Yes. Okay. କାହିଁକିନା ଏଇଠି ବ୍ରିଟିଶ ଗଭର୍ଣ୍ଣମେଣ୍ଟ ଫର୍ଷ୍ଟ ରେକଗ୍ନାଇଜ କଲା ଆର ଟେରିଟୋରିଆଲ ପୋଜିସନ କୁ. ଓକେ. The Government of India Act of 1858. This is known as the Act of Good Government for India. It has abolished the East India Company and transferred the powers to the British Crown. Okay. And the British Crown has become the paramount power. Paramount power. Okay. That is, it has become sovereign. Is it clear? Shall we proceed to the next question?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that was my mistake. This Indian Civil Service was introduced by.
yes.
Okay,
See.
it's already there. There is an error in the preparation of the slide. Okay, we have already covered this in our lectures also, right? I have already told you. Charles Cornwallis was known as the father of civil services in India. Okay. Can anyone tell me what is this covenanted civil service and what is this uncovenanted civil service? Don't read from the
Sir.
slide and tell me.
ମାନେ mainly Britishers ମାନେ ରହୁଥିଲେ ଆଉ non covenant ମାନେ mainly
Sir, Indians allowed unconvented civil.
And from when civil services of India was thrown upon to Indians? From when Indian could be able to participate in this covenanted civil service? I have covered them.
Sir, 1853.
Next. The colonial government took first step for the spread of modern education in
Eight 1835.
what is the answer?
Sir, 1813.
Yes.
Macaulay
In this,
Minute should have.
yes. So you have been attentive in our classes. That's why you could answer this one. And we have talked about Macaulay minutes, Woods Dispatch, Orientalist, Anglicist, controversy. Fine. We have discussed all of them in our lectures. The answer is Charter Act of 1813. It has sanctioned 1 lakh rupees annually for this purpose, for the spread of modern education in India. Can anyone tell me this about this Orientalist Anglicist controversy?
सर ओरिएंटलिस्ट्स माने से माने जो माने कि अपोज करंती वेस्टर्न और यूरोपियन व्यू की that Indians are not capable of doing anything or rule over themselves. They consider us inferior, so Orientalists oppose this view.
Okay, fine. Next. The year in which British Crown took over the administration of India from East India Company. Very simple.
1858.
Yes. Good. I have mentioned the year also. Okay. We have covered almost in this lecture series. We'll cover all 167 questions those are asked in previous year OPSC questions, OPSC prelims. That is from 2006 to 2021. So I advise all of you to go through these questions because then only you would be able to identify the important areas of Lakshmikant. Fine. Government of India Act of 1858. This act is known as Act of Good Government for India, and the power is transferred from East India Company to the Crown. What was the reason why this act was introduced?
So Sepoy
सर
mutiny.
रिसेंटली 1857 वार
1857.
न्यूटन सिपाही का 1858 असते.
Yes. And what are some of the other features of this act?
Secretary of State, Viceroy.
Secretary of State for India and Indian Council was formed to assist this Secretary of State for India. And
Yes,
he is
sir.
a cabinet member of British cabinet. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And the policy of annexation of state has ended. Fine. From this act onwards.
Under the double government.
For double government. Next. Making of the constitution. Who among the following was the chairman of the Committee of Constituent Assemblies? Chairman of the committees, actually, not committee, committees.
B.R. Ambedkar.
Sir, B.R. Ambedkar.
Sir, B.R. Ambedkar.
Drafting committee, B.R. Ambedkar.
B.R. Ambedkar chairman थे drafting.
जवाहरलाल नेहरू होगा
सर
कि?
बी होगा सर.
जवाहरलाल नेहरू.
हाँ, जवाहरलाल नेहरू.
Answer is Rajendra Prasad. He was the chairman of all committees of the Constituent Assembly. Okay. Dr. Rajendra Prasad was the chairman of the Constituent Assembly Committee. Next. Who among the following was the chairman of the States Committee?
सरदार पटेल.
Sardar Patel.
सरदार वल्लभ भाई पटेल. बी सर.
Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel was the chairman of the Provincial Constitution Committee. Okay. So who was the chairman of the States Committee?
Jawaharlal Nehru.
Yes,
B.
Jawaharlal Nehru was the chairman of the States Committee. That is Committee for Negotiating with the States. By states, what do you mean? These are the major committees of our constitution. I have highlighted the committees which are important, like Union Constitution Committee, Jawaharlal Nehru, Provincial Constitution Committee, Sardar Patel, Drafting Committee, B.R. Ambedkar, States Committee, Jawaharlal Nehru, Steering Committee, Rajendra Prasad. Fine. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Please go through all these things after the class. Next. The members of the Constituent Assembly were nominated by
Partly elected or partly nominated?
they were partly elected from the British India. Okay.
Yes.
From British India, they were partly elected. Based on which act? Based on this act. Okay. And for princely states, they are nominated. And that was the reason why Congress has opposed this proposal, because they have demanded election from the princely state also. Okay. Under the cabinet mission plan, the Constituent Assembly was constituted. Okay. This is the strength. The total strength was 389. Okay. 296 were allotted to British India and 93 states were allotted to the princely states. Okay. And in case of British India, they were elected from the provincial legislative assembly. Okay. Whereas in case of princely states, they are nominated by head of the princely states. Is it clear? And what is the method of election? Proportional representation by means of single transferable vote. Can anyone tell me about this? What is a single transferable vote?
Sir, ଜଣେ କେବଳ ଗୋଟେ ହିଁ ଭୋଟ ଦେଇପାରିବ ଆଉ
सर एठी ला जो प्रेफरेंस रे वोटिंग दियंती सपोज 4 जण कैंडिडेट रहिले ए बी सी डी तो तांको प्रेफरेंस वाइज दिया हबो कि फर्स्ट ए देन बी देन सी देन डी तापरे जदी जणे जणकर सपोज जणे एलिमिनेट हे जाउछंती ताले तांकर वोटिंग रे जहा को मैक्सिमम सपोज बी को मैक्सिमम दिया हिची तो सेई गुडा का सिकरी काउंट ही जिवो बी रो वोट सहित एमिति ट्रांसफर वे वोट सेति पई सिंगल
ମୁଁ ସାର୍ ଭାବୁଛି ଇଣ୍ଡିଆ ସାରା ହଉଛି ଜଣଙ୍କର ଗୋଟେ ହଉଛି ଭୋଟିଂ ମାନେ ତାଙ୍କର ହଉଛି ସିଙ୍ଗିଲ ଭୋଟ ମାନେ ତାର ଗୋଟେ ଆଇଡେଣ୍ଟି କାର୍ଡ ମାନେ ସେମିତି
फर्स्ट आग तमे टॉपिक्स गुड़ा को भलो से पढ़. ओके. और किसी assumption presumption रखनी. Fine. So what is single transferable vote? First, I think someone has told about this. I think Subhasri or who told me about this single transferable vote. Okay. Single transferable votes रे हमरो कौन हुए? Let us say जन इलेक्टर रहिला से let us say 4 जन को इलेक्ट करे 4 जन को सिलेक्ट करे रछ हेले से तार प्रेफरेंसेस दे देला. Let us say A B C D 1 2 3 4. Okay. Let us say in the first round this candidate D has got least votes. Okay. So all the votes from this candidate D would be transferred to 1 2 and 3. And this process will continue. And after that, let us say C has got the lowest vote. So the votes of C would be transferred to A and B. And that's how out of A and B, one will be elected. And what is the rationale behind this single transferable vote? The rationality कौन? Single transferable vote रा. हमें कौन पे single transferable vote use करूँ? Let us say president का election रे हमें कहीं की use करूँ single transferable vote?
minority representation.
So, yes. No, minority representation. Single transferable vote रे कौन टाला? Let us say for example the president of India. Okay. How would let us say more first आरटा example रे कही दोची FPTP. First past the post. एटा simple voting हमरो जे maximum votes पाइला. Okay. जे majority vote पाइला सी let us say win करूची. Let us say there are 100 votes. let us say there are 100 votes and there are 3 candidates. There are 4 candidates, A, B, C, D. A has got 500 votes, B has got 200 votes, C has got 200 votes, and D has got 100 votes. Okay. So as A has received 500 votes, he will win. Okay. First past the post. Okay. The one who has got maximum votes will win. That was the idea behind this first past the post system. And in case of single transferable vote, the winner would have received more than 50% vote. Okay. Single transferable vote कौन हुए ना majority representation हुए कहे कि ना जे लास्ट लेटर से डी लूजर हला तार वोट ट्रांसफर हे गला एबीसी भितरे तापर लेटर से सी रो सब लिस्ट वोट रहला सेटा ट्रांसफर हे गला एबी भितरे तो डेफिनेटली जे विनर हबो से डेफिनेटली मोर देन 50% ताको सपोर्ट मिली थिबो जोटा हायर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल बॉडीज कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अथॉरिटीज लेटर से प्रेसिडेंट तो से माने फास्ट पास द पोस्ट मेथड रे इलेक्टेड हबा कथा नुहे ताको ब्रॉडर रिप्रेजेंटेशन दरकार मेजॉरिटी ऑफ पीपल ऑफ इंडिया शुड सपोर्ट हिम. That was the rationality behind this single transferable vote. Okay, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Next,
Yes, sir.
salient features of the Constitution. Which of the following is a part of the Constitution of India? This was asked in last year's prelims question. All of you.
C हबो.
Okay. All of you, please participate.
D,
This
sir.
is a very easy question.
Sir, B.
D sir.
B sir.
It's a बहुत ही generic question, right? Fundamental rights definitely it introduced thiba ଆମ constitution, a part of our constitution, right? सबळे हम fundamental rights सुनुछु. Relationship between union and states definitely 7th schedule ओडा हम सुनुछु, that is separation of power, center state relation, everything. Okay, तो एटा तो रहुची. Finance, property, contract and suits एटा भी रहुची. Okay, financial relations पुडा केटा शो करूची. Okay, trade, commerce and intercourse within India, that shall be free. Okay, that should be free from any kind of obstruction. Okay, so by using your common sense only you could have solved this question. Okay, so the answer is D. Our constitution includes all of them. Okay, part 3 of our constitution deals with the fundamental rights from article 12 to 35. Part 11 of our constitution deals with the relation between union and state, that is from article 245 to 263, and it consists of legislative, administrative and financial relations. Okay, and part 13 of our constitution deals with trade, commerce and intercourse within the territory of India. Part 12 deals with the finance, property, contracts and suits. Okay, so you should have gone through the parts of constitution also along with schedule. You should also go through the parts. You should have at least a basic understanding, and in case of schedule you should be thorough. Okay, parts you should have a basic understanding. Schedule like first schedule to next. Which of the following language is not included in the 8th schedule?
भोजपुरी.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Sir, C.
A.
All of you, please participate.
A sir.
All of you, please participate. The answer is Bhojpuri. A. Okay. How many languages were there in 8th schedule?
Sir, 22.
22. By sir.
20. Yes. 22 languages are there in 8th schedule. The subject matter of 8th schedule is languages recognized by our constitution. Initially, there were 14
The
languages.
screen share mini.
Acha, screen share. Okay. Okay. ଏବେ ହେଲା ତ screen share?
Yes, sir.
हाँ सर
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Is it visible to all of you? Okay.
Yes, sir.
The subject matter of 8th
Yes, sir.
schedule is language recognized by our constitution. Initially, there were 14 languages, but right now there are 22 languages. Okay. These are the languages. Okay. You need to remember them. Sindhi and see this one. Odia was renamed as Odia by virtue of this 96th Amendment Act of 2011. Okay. Is it clear? ଆମେ ଯେତେବେଳେ amendments ପଢିବା ଏଗୁଡାକ କେମିତି amend ହଉଛି ସେଟା ବି ଦେଖିବା. Okay. କି whether এটা article 368 ରେ amend ହଉଛି କି ନାହିଁ. Is it fine?
यस सर
ତ schedule 8ଟା ଯାକ ସରି 12ଟା ଯାକ ଯେତେ schedule ଅଛି ସବୁତିକ ଭଲସେ ମନେ ରଖିବାର ଅଛି. First schedule ରେ କଣ ଅଛି?
Sir, Union and States.
Union of State.
यूनियन ऑफ स्टेट
Okay. The name of the states and their territorial jurisdiction. That is the first schedule. Second schedule.
Sir,
Citizenships.
salary allowance.
Yes. Emoluments, allowances, privileges, and so on of constitutional bodies like constitutional authorities like President of India, Governor of States, Speaker of Lok Sabha. Okay. Like that. Judges of Supreme Court, judges of High Court, CAG. All those are
Attorney
included.
General of India.
Attorney General of India.
Attorney General competitor Attorney General of India.
Attorney General of India included nahi second schedule there. Okay. CAG ro included ଅଛି. Okay. Next. Third schedule. Third schedule le kon ଅଛି?
And affirmations.
Post and affirmations. And fourth schedule.
Rajya Sabha.
Allocation of seats. Rajya Sabha seat.
Rajya Sabha allocation of seats.
Fifth schedule.
Sir, administration under scheduled areas, sir.
Scheduled tribe.
Fifth schedule of okay. Fifth schedule of sixth schedule ro every word detail re मन रखिबा. Okay. Fifth schedule होछि कोन provision relating to administration and control of scheduled areas and scheduled tribes. Okay. Except the state of Assam, Mizoram, Tripura, Manipur, Meghalaya. Sorry. Okay. और sixth schedule. Sixth schedule कोन अछि? Provision relating to administration and control of scheduled areas and scheduled tribes of the states of Assam, Tripura, Meghalaya. Seventh schedule. सबटू popular schedule है.
Distribution of power between
Power between the union and the states.
Union concurrently state.
Yes. Eighth schedule we have already discussed. It is about the language. What about ninth schedule?
Land reform.
Land records. Land records.
Not exactly land reform. Okay. Land reform सेटा start ହେଇଥିଲା actually. Okay. First amendment रे हम ninth schedule टे introduce कलु. सेटा कोन पे करा हला? ना हमको किसा land reforms करियर थिला और right to property सेटा fundamental right थिला. Okay. सेति पे land reform रे हम ninth schedule को introduce कर देलु कि ninth schedule under रे जो act गुडा को रहबो तार कोनोसी judicial review रहबो नाही. Okay. Review रहबो नहीं. Okay. तो सेति पे नाइन्थ शेड्यूल रे इंट्रोड्यूस हेतला हेले तापर आउरी बहुत सारा एक्ट्स नाइन्थ शेड्यूल रे रखा हेतला जुडिशियल रिव्यू टाकू बंद करिया पे ओके बट फ्रॉम केशवानंद भारती जजमेंट ओके 1973 परठू जो भी एक्ट नाइन्थ शेड्यूल रे रखा होची दैट इज सब्जेक्टेड टू जुडिशियल रिव्यू फाइन नेक्स्ट 10th शेड्यूल
Anti-defection law.
Disqualification of member of parliament.
yes it was related to anti defection law 11th schedule
Yes.
पंचायत राज सर
Panchayat.
पंचायत राज
Article 14, sir.
no what panchayat 11th schedule the subject matter that were delegated to the panchayat okay like 29 subject matters were transferred to panchayats okay and 12th schedule
Sir, municipality.
municipality
15 subjects were transferred to municipality okay is it clear
Yes,
next
Yes, sir.
which of the following statements are correct in respect of parliamentary form of government in India
Sir, D.
all of you please participate
it is a D sir
Sir, D, 1 and 2.
D, sir.
D.
D, sir.
First, this system is founded on the notion of collaboration and coordination between legislature and executive. What do you understand by this? माने कौन?
Legislator ଆଉ executive ଭିତରେ collaboration ରହିବ, coordinate ହେଇକି କାମ କରିବେ।
ଏଟା ତ ସେଇ same ଜିନିଷ ହିଁ ତ ଲେଖା ହେଇଛି ତମେ extra କଣଟା କହିଲ? Okay. The executive comes from the legislature and is responsible to it. That is, the council of minister is collectively responsible to Lok Sabha. ତା ମାନେ ହଉଛି ସେଇଟା ଏଇଟା ହଉଛି ଆମର ପାର୍ଲାମେଣ୍ଟାରୀ ଫର୍ମ ଅଫ ଗଭର୍ଣ୍ଣମେଣ୍ଟ କି ଆମର ଯୋଉ ବି ମିନିଷ୍ଟର ହୁଅନ୍ତୁ ସିଏ ଡେଫିନେଟଲି ଗୋଟେ ଲେଜିସ୍ଲେଚର ପାର୍ଟ ହବା ଦରକାର 6 months ପାଇଁ ସେମାନେ ମେମ୍ବର ନହେଲେ ଚଳିବ ବଟ୍ ବିୟଣ୍ଡ ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ ଦେ ହାଭ୍ ଟୁ ବି ଅ ମେମ୍ବର ଅଫ ଇଦର ଲୋକସଭା ଅର ରାଜ୍ୟସଭା or else they have to resign okay ଆଉ ପ୍ରେସିଡେନ୍ସିଆଲ ଫର୍ମ ରେ କଣ ଥାଏ ପ୍ରେସିଡେନ୍ସିଆଲ ଫର୍ମ ଅଫ ଗଭର୍ଣ୍ଣମେଣ୍ଟ ରେ
Sir, clear.
president all in all sir
Is not a part of legislature.
yes executive is not bound to be a part of the legislature okay
Sir, US ରେ ଯେମିତି ଅଛି sir.
यूएस रे जेमति तार प्रेसिडेंट इलेक्शन होउची तापर से निजर सेक्रेटरी मान को निजे चूज करछन ओके ता सेक्रेटरी माने दे आर नॉट नेसेसरीली द मेंबर्स ऑफ द लेजिस्लेचर ओके और इवन ताकर जो प्रेसिडेंट इलेक्ट होउचंती नेसेसरी न कि ताको पार्टी रो मेजॉरिटी थिबो लेजिस्लेचर रे ओके सेले ता कायना तार प्रेसिडेंशियल इलेक्शन सेपरेटली हुए ओके इंडिया हैज borrowed the parliamentary form of government from Britain this is correct this type of government can be formed without political parties this is not possible because we need to have the participation of the parties political parties for running this parliamentary form of government in this form of government the head of the state is prime minister who is the head of the state
President.
president is the head of the state in case of a parliamentary form of government why it cannot be formed without the participation of political parties बिना पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज रे काहे की हे परिबनी
सर पार्लियामेंट्री फॉर्म ऑफ गवर्नमेंट रे मेजॉरिटी पार्टी रूल्स
yes very good majority party rule okay ए कांसेप्ट अछि okay the system is founded on the notion of collaboration and coordination okay we have adopted parliamentary system of government rather than American presidential form of government what was the reason
Government of India Act 1935 रे आगुरु सेटा इंट्रोड्यूस हे जाइतला
because we are familiar with this system of government the parliament because a known devil is always better than an unknown angel fine and at that point of time there are secessionist tendencies the partition of India on the basis of religion those things had happened So we needed a broader representation in the executive from the legislature. That was the reason why we have selected this parliamentary form of government. This parliamentary form of government is based on the principle of cooperation and coordination between the legislative and executive organs, whereas the presidential system is based on doctrine of separation of power. Okay, that has been strictly followed in case of presidential system, but in case of parliamentary system, this doesn't hold good. This is also known as Westminster model of government, responsible government, or cabinet government. Why is it known as Westminster model of government? Because this is the location of British Parliament, Westminster. Okay, that's why it is known as Westminster model of government. Next, the feature of the Parliament government was presence of nominal and real executive. The nominal executive is President, and the real executive is Prime Minister. Majority party rule, we have already discussed about it. Collective responsibility of executive to the legislature, that is, the executive comes from the legislature and is responsible to it. Membership of the ministers in the legislature, that is, the minister has to be a member of the legislature. Unless he is a member, he has to resign after 6 months. Leadership of prime minister or chief minister in case of state legislative assembly. Dissolution of lower house. Okay, whereas Rajya Sabha is permanent. These are the features. What is the difference between our parliamentary system and British parliamentary system? Can anyone
Sir, the monarchy republic.
head of the
British parliament कोनटा होची head of the state होचंदी कोन king or queen. Okay, सेटा होची कोन. Okay, ताकर जे nominal head होचंती से पोजीशन टा होची hereditary. Okay, whereas amar जे nominal head होचंदी इंडिया रे सेवन होचंदी elected. Even if indirectly elected होंतु, he is elected. That is the difference between our parliamentary form of government and British parliamentary form of government. Okay, parliamentary British parliamentary होची parliament होची sovereign body. Okay, तो parliament जहाँ भी law pass कला ता ऊपर आउ कौन सी restriction है तारा unhindered power रही ची. आमर जेंति basic structure doctrine में limited ही जाउच. Okay, doctrine में limited ही जाउच. ताकर सेमती किछि नै, ताकर unhindered power अछि. Okay, unhindered power of legislation. चेंज छटा अछि कारण तार parliament होची sovereign. इंडिया रे को माने sovereign?
People.
Citizens हला. Citizen माने इंडिया रे sovereign. ब्रिटेन ने किंतु parliament तार sovereign. तार unhindered power अछि से चाहे चाहे legislate करि परिबो. हमर elected head रहउचंती ब्रिटेन रे कोंटा रहउचंती hereditary head, nominal head. Okay, हेले दीटा सिस्टम रे प्राइम मिनिस्टर होची significant authority रहउची. Okay, that's why it is called as prime minister form of government. Next, which of the following features of Indian constitution are not borrowed from South Africa? I think at least you people have heard of this one. Yeah. The amendment to our constitution has been borrowed from South African constitution because
Yes,
this is not too rigid. This is not too rigid and it is not too flexible. Okay, so not borrowed. Okay, so this has been borrowed from the constitution of South Africa. Okay, and statement 1, this is also been borrowed from the constitution of South Africa. So the correct answer is this: procedure established by law and appointment of governor to states. Okay, these are the features we are not taken from the constitution of South Africa. The concurrent list of the constitution was adopted from
Australia.
Australia, sir. Australia.
Australia.
Australia, sir, Australia.
Very good. This is the constitution of Australia, from where we have borrowed our concurrent list. Next, which schedule of the constitution distributes power between union and states? Very simple.
Seven.
D.
B, sir.
Yes, very simple. This is 7th schedule, and 7th schedule is amended by virtue of which amendment? Co-amendment 7th schedule को amend करा है तिला.
1951 first one.
7th schedule को first 9th schedule को था को हमने
1956 रे amendment कराते
7th schedule टा 42nd amendment रे amend करा है तिला. Okay.
1972.
Okay. ଯେତେବେଳେ emergency ଥିଲା ସେ ଟାଇମ ରେ ଆମେ amend କରିକି କିଛିଟା top subject state list ଆଉ concurrent list ଆମେ union list को ନେଇ ଆସିଥିଲୁ. Okay. Next. Which among the following state does not come under 6th schedule of Indian Constitution? We have already discussed about it.
Sikkim.
Yes. And which all states were there in 6th schedule of Constitution?
Assam,
Assam, Tripura, Meghalaya.
Assam, Mizoram,
Assam, Tripura,
Tripura,
इटा जी तमे मैप देखियो बहुत इजीली रिमेंबर करि परियो. लेट अस से आसाम एटा रहले तार जस्ट तळे थियो मेघालय. ओके. एटा सिटी रहले त्रिपुरा तार साइड रे थियो मिजोरम. ओके. और 6th शेड्यूल टा इंट्रोड्यूस कराइतला कोन बे जोठी कि अबोरिजिनल्स माने रहउछंती. तांकर यूनिक कस्टम्स को प्रिजर्व करिया पे. ओके. 6th शेड्यूल Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram. This is administration of tribal areas of this. This is 6th schedule. And 5th schedule deals with the administration and control of scheduled areas and scheduled tribes, not tribal areas. Okay. 6th schedule deals with the administration of tribal areas of the state of Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram. Whereas 5th schedule deals with the administration and control of scheduled areas and scheduled tribes. Okay. There are around 10 number of states where scheduled areas were there. और scheduled area रे पंचायत राज केमिति करा हुए. पंचायत राज सिस्टम और 73rd अमेंडमेंट छोड़ा सब एप्लीकेबल हुए कि नहीं?
पैसा
Yes.
नहीं सर हुए नहीं.
Yes, sir, 1990.
पैसा हुए. Provision of panchayat, provision extension to scheduled areas. Okay. Next. The Indian Federation is based on the pattern of
कर्नाटक.
हम फेडरेशन पैटर्न कौन?
USA.
यूएसए तो केबे भी नुहे. यूएसए इज ट्रूली गोट फेडरेशन.
Canada.
एटा सर कनाडा.
यूएसए होची कोन हला होल्डिंग टुगेदर फेडरेशन. हमें तो को हला गवर्नेंस वर्ड रे हम कहू छी होल्डिंग टुगेदर फेडरेशन. सॉरी यूएसए होची कमिंग टुगेदर फेडरेशन.
स्विट्जरलैंड होची सर होल्डिंग.
ओके. कमिंग टुगेदर माने कोनटा होची 50 स्टेट्स थिले यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स ऑफ अमेरिका. ओके. These 50 states have come together and they have formed this United States of America. They have dual citizenship. They have dual constitution for every state and as well as for the United States. Okay. Whereas in case of India, it is holding together federation. Because what?
States cannot secede from center.
Because India is a union of states. The term federation was nowhere mentioned. India is a union of states. Okay, let us read this explanation. Which features were borrowed from Canadian Constitution? Federation with strong center, residuary power with the center, appointment of state governors by the center, and advisory jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. Okay. ये feature फुड हमें कनाडा रु बोरो करछु. 1935 act रे residuary power कहाँ पे करे थिला?
Governor General का पाखे.
Yes. I have already discussed about it in the last lecture.
Yes, sir.
तो इंडिया रे कौन होची फेडरल सिस्टम विथ यूनिटरी बायस. इटा होची फीचर्स ऑफ फेडरेशन. कौन और थाए हमरो किछटा फेडरल फीचर अछि किछटा यूनिटरी फीचर अछि. Two government, that is center and state. Division of power, 7th schedule. Okay, state list, union list, and concurrent list. Written constitution. Whereas in case of Britain, they do not have any written constitution. We have written constitution because it clearly separates. It clearly mentions the separation of power between center and states. There will not be any ambiguity over it. Okay. Then supremacy of the constitution, the rigidity of the constitution, independent judiciary. Okay, our judiciary is not committed; it is independent. Bicameralism, that is Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, Council of State, House of People, and Council of States. Okay, the representation of states in the Parliament through Rajya Sabha, and these are our unitary features. What is that? A strong center, single constitution. Okay, single citizenship. Whereas in case of USA, they have dual constitution and dual citizenship. Flexibility of the constitution, in some provisions it is rigid and in some provision it is flexible. If you have to create a separate state, it is very flexible. You just need a single majority in the parliament. Gote nuwa state jodi formation kariya अछि, हम single majority parliament रे भी करि परिबा. Okay, तापे state मानकर assent भी दरकार नहीं. Then integrated judiciary, that is district court, subordinate court, district court, subordinate court, subordinate court, then district court, then high court, then Supreme Court. Okay, the Supreme Court has jurisdiction over all the legislations in India. Appointment of state governor by the center, that the governor holds the office till the pleasure of the president. Okay, president को जेपन the pleasure अछि सेत में governor appoint हे परिवे, ता position को hold करि परिवे. Okay, and that is the reason why there is a politicization in the position of the governor. All India services, emergency provisions, these are all unitary provisions. Okay, Article 1, what does it say? India is a union of states. And what does it mean? Indian Federation is not result of an agreement of the states, as in case of USA. Okay, state मान भीतर agreement है कि है नहीं. हमारा अगो state India formation वाला तापर state गुड़ा integrated है. Next, no state has the right to secede from the federation. Okay, state गुड़ा का हमारा exact जब हमें governance terminologies रे कहिबा से माने political entity नहीं. Polity terminologies को नहीं, governor terminologies को उच. से माने गोटा administrative convenience में तम create करा है. Okay, convenience में state गुड़ा को create करा है. Okay, next. Which of the following is not a correct statement regarding the unitary system? Use your common sense and answer this question.
Should be.
You should not leave these questions even if you do not know about it. Okay. These questions are very generic.
B होगा.
B.
Not correct. Okay. In unitary system, there is one state and one government. Definitely, this is correct. There is constitutional division of power between center and local government. This is a contradiction to unitary state, because in unitary state the center is all powerful. Okay, and the local bodies derive their autonomy and power from the center. That is the structure of a unitary state. Okay, the center is all powerful, and the local bodies, they do not have any kind of autonomy. Okay, they derive every power from the center itself. Okay, they do not have any independent political existence. Unitary system is particularly suited for a small country like Britain, Switzerland, those countries. Okay, next. Which of the following is not a salient feature of our constitution?
Committed judiciary.
C.
See, sir.
Sir.
Committed judiciary माने कौन? What do you understand by the term committed judiciary? The answer is correct. Okay, we have this A, B, and D distribution of power by virtue of 7th schedule. Quasi-federal structure, the distribution of power between center and states. Okay, written constitution, that is fine. Supremacy of the constitution. But can anyone tell me about this committed judiciary? What do you mean by this committed judiciary?
Judiciary cannot override its own decision.
Then what is the review power to review own judgment by Supreme Court?
Committed to uphold the policies of the government.
Yes, very good. During the time of Indira Gandhi, okay, Indira Gandhi got disqualified because of some judicial pronouncements. Okay, during her time there was politicization of judiciary. She has made a call for a committed judiciary, that is a judiciary which is committed to the ideals of government. But in our case, our judiciary is committed to the ideals of the constitution. Okay. So if there is a committed judiciary, there cannot be any judicial review, because judiciary will always support all the policies of the government. During the time of Indira Gandhi, she tried to abolish some provisions like privy purses, and she tried to implement some aggressive socialist schemes, for which she wanted the DPSP to have a dominance over the fundamental rights. Okay, that's why she has made a call for a committed judiciary. That is, the judiciary should commit to the ideals of the government, but it didn't happen. Our judiciary is committed to the ideals of the constitution. We have integrated judiciary in case of committed judiciary. We have a judiciary which is committed to the ideals of our constitution. Fine. We have independent judiciary in India. Next. Which
Sir,
country's
integrated
political...
judiciary is committed to the government?
No, integrated judiciary has nothing to do with the government. Integrated judiciary means Supreme Court has the power to dictate over all the legislation that have been legislated in India. Okay.
Yes, sir.
There is the hierarchy of judiciary. In top there will be Supreme Court, then High Court, then District Court, and subordinate court. Subordinate courts. Okay. This is the hierarchy. Okay. यदि इंटीग्रेटेड जुडिशियरी न था गोटे स्टेट रे यदि लेजिस्लेशन किछि हला ताको सुप्रीम कोर्ट डील कर परियोनी. ओके, लाइक इन केस ऑफ यूएसए हमरो इंटीग्रेट जदि स्टेट रे यदि इंटीग्रेटेड जुडिशियरी न था ताले गोटे स्टेट लेजिस्लेशन खाली हाई कोर्ट पकरी रहि जाई था आ ऊपर भी जाई पर न था. नेक्स्ट, प्लीज आंसर दिस क्वेश्चन. व्हिच कंट्रीज पॉलिटिकल पार्टी सिस्टम हैज बीन डिस्क्राइब्ड एज एम्प्टी बॉटल बाय ब्राइस? बी सर. बी
सर.
5. Why B? कहीं ना यूएस रे एटा करेक्ट. यूएस रे डेमोक्रेट माने अछंती आ रिपब्लिकन माने अछंती. ओके, तो तांकर सेमती किछि गोटे बडा आइडियोलॉजिकल डिफरेंसेस नाही, सेत पे तांको एम्प्टी बॉटल्स परी कोहा होछि. Each wearing the label denoting the kind of liquor it contains, because there is no fundamental difference in policies between both Democratic and Republic Party. Okay, ताको भीतर सेमिति किछि फंडामेंटल डिफरेंसेस नाही. तमान खाली लेबल डिनोट करछनी गोटे पार्टी होछि डेमोक्रेट, गोटे प्लेट होछंती रिपब्लिकन. ओके, सेत में कोहा होछि. नेक्स्ट, the concept of separation of power was given by
Montesquieu.
Yes, sir.
Yes. He is from which country? He is from which country? He is from France. He is a French philosopher. What do you mean by separation of power?
It's a clear check and balance.
Separation of power between legislature, executive, and judiciary. The clear delineation of power. Okay. The executive, they should not have any power over the judiciary, because that will result in conflict of interest. They will always support their own decision. There cannot be any judicial review. The concept of separation of power is given by Montesquieu. He has described the separation of political power among legislature, executive, and judiciary, as I have explained. Okay. The government should morally obligated to serve the people, to protect their natural rights of life, liberty, and property. This is the basis. When legislative and executive powers are united on the same person, there can be no liberty. Liberty ro definition kon?
Sir, absence of restraints.
Wrong. There is, if there is no liberty, judicial power is not separated from legislature and executive power, because the executive will have this judicial power. Okay. They can defend all of their deeds to judiciary. तो लिबर्टी जोटा कोच absence of restraints जदि तुम से भाबुछ ताहले तो 2017 ने मतलब लाଗୁଛି गोटे प्रिलिम्स रे क्वेश्चन आस्थिला लिबर्टी ऊपर केतरे से स्टेटमेंट रॉन्ग थिला
Sir, reasonable थिबो
तो लक्ष्मीकांत पढिबो लिबर्टी रो दीटा पार्ट लिखा है हला जदि absence of restraints सहित आउ जदि किछि पार्ट्स जदि लिखा हेनी ओके ताहले absence of restraint could have been more appropriate. Let us take for an example. Lakshmi लिखा है कौन? Liberty means the absence of restraints on the activities of individuals and at the same time providing opportunities for the development of individual personalities. Okay. The first part is negative connotation of liberty. Second part is positive connotation of liberty. Okay. First is absence of restraint. Second is to provide opportunities to individuals for development of their personalities. Okay. तो जेतले दीटा स्टेटमेंट हमर थिबो हमें सेकंड टाको ही चूज करबा हला कारण एटा पॉजिटिव नोशन ऑफ लिबर्टी. फाइन. From which constitution fundamental rights were adopted?
American.
Very simple. This is US constitution. Okay. This is borrowed from the which other provisions were borrowed from US constitution? Independence of judiciary, judicial review, impeachment of the president, removal of Supreme Court and High Court judges, and post of the Vice President. These are the provisions which we have borrowed from US. Okay. In US, Supreme Court is all powerful, very, very powerful.
Sir, previous
Why
question
do we
में
need
तो
a
देखिए
fundamental right? हमको fundamental right कौन पे दरकार? फंडामेंटल राइट्स हमको कौन पे दरकार? कौन पे हम कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन मेकर्स माने इतने माने फोकस थिले फंडामेंटल राइट्स ऊपर?
सर गवर्नमेंट रे मोनोपोली को रेस्ट्रिक्ट करियो पे.
Yes. Because our freedom was hard earned. Okay. Freedom. और डेमोक्रेसी रो कांसेप्ट होची कोनटा हला? डॉक्ट्रिन ऑफ शेयर्ड पावर. डेमोक्रेसी तापरे बेस करिछि. ओके. सिटीजन रहिले और रहिले स्टेट. ओके. सिटीजन माने किछटा पावर. सिटीजन होचंदी डेमोक्रेसी रो सॉवरेन. ओके. से माने किछटा पावर डेलीगेट कर देले स्टेट को to let the state rule over them. But the state can very well become a Frankenstein monster. मैं जोड़ा पढ़ू छु भस्मासुर जे स्टेट सेमती हे परिबा जदि सब पावर से एब्सोल्युटली पावरफुल हे गला. ओके. तो सेहिति पई स्टेट रो पावर को लिमिट करिया पे हमें कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन बनाई छु. ओके. हम ऑलरेडी डिस्कस करि छु ए विषय रे फर्स्ट क्लास रे, राइट? तो जो मैंने क्लासेस अटेंड करना है मु स्ट्रांगली रेकमेंड करी कि फर्स्ट 3 क्लासेस को अटेंड करिया पे बहुत सारा कांसेप्चुअल क्लैरिटी आसी जिवो. ओके. तो स्टेट रो पावर को लिमिट करिया पे हमें कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन रखी. ओके. तो फंडामेंटल राइट्स करा है कौन पॉलिटिकल फ्रीडम दवा पे टू प्रोटेक्ट द सिटीजन फ्रॉम द बलवाक ऑफ स्टेट रो किछि भी मोनोपोली रु सिटीजन मानु को प्रोटेक्ट करे पे फंडामेंटल्स रखा है फंडामेंटल राइट्स रखा है सेही पे फंडामेंटल राइट्स वायोलेशन हले आर्टिकल 32 अनुसार तुम डायरेक्ट सुप्रीम कोर्ट जाई परिबो ओके सेही पे फंडामेंटल राइट को एते सैक्रोसैंक्ट करा है ओके नेक्स्ट fundamental rights are meant for promoting the idea of political democracy okay DPSP रो कोन रहउची आइडियल फंडामेंटल राइट
सोशियो इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट इकोनॉमिक वेलफेयर स्टेट
सर
वेलफेयर स्टेट DPSP रो
डेमोक्रेटिक सोशलिज्म से
डेमो हां ठीक अछि वेलफेयर स्टेट मेनली हला तापर कुछ कोनटाला दे एक्ट एज अ लिमिटेशन ऑन द टायरानी ऑफ द एग्जीक्यूटिव एंड आर्बिट्रेरी लॉज ऑफ द लेजिस्लेचर किछि भी आर्बिट्रेरी लॉ हला लेजिस्लेचर कि आर्बिट्रेरी किछि टायरानी ऑफ एग्जीक्यूटिव हला सेडा सबुतिक जदि फंडामेंटल राइट को वायोलेट करिवो ताल आर्टिकल 13 अनुसार सेटा नल एंड वॉइड हे जिवो ओके तापर दे आर जस्टिसेबल इन नेचर दैट इज दे आर एनफोर्सेबल बाय द कोर्ट्स फॉर देयर वायोलेशन ओके In case of violation, a person can directly approach the Supreme Court, which can issue various writs like habeas corpus, mandamus, quo warranto, certiorari, and prohibition. Okay, the writs would kari paribo. And fundamental rights were enshrined in Part 3 of our Constitution, that is from Article 12 to 35. Article 12 is about the definition of state. Article 13 is about any act which is in contravention to the fundamental right would be null and void. Okay. The framer of the Constitution derived inspiration from the Constitution of USA, that is Bill of Rights. USA रे Bill of Rights थला सेउड समाने inspiration नेले. Okay, this is known as the Magna Carta of India. And our fundamental rights are more elaborate than those found in USA. Okay. So with this, we have completed the discussion of our class.
सर टिके जो थर्ड आप पूर्व जो तीनटा क्वेश्चन पूर्व टिके सर सेपरेशन ऑफ पावर टा जो बुझौतले तीन आप पूर्व जो सर तीनटा क्वेश्चन पूर्व सर टिके आउथरे टिके बुझाई देबे
कोनला
ए जो लास्ट क्वेश्चन न तीनटा क्वेश्चन पूर्व जो सेपरेशन ऑफ पावर थिला सर सेटा टिके बुझाई देबा
ओके separation of power एटा की
यस सर
स्लाइड्स देखा जाउछ तो
यस सर
ओके तो सेपरेशन ऑफ पावर कोन बुझबे सेपरेशन ऑफ पावर होची कोन हला हमें लेजिस्लेचर एग्जीक्यूटिव और जुडिशियरी भितर हमें पावर को सेपरेट करूछ हला तो एथरे आउ कोन डाउट्स रहला कि इंडियन केस रे कोनटा होची the executive comes from the legislature and is responsible to it okay तो separation of power कोन टा कहूची कि let us say legislature हला सी कंट्रोल करिया कथा एग्जीक्यूटिव को राइट यदि एग्जीक्यूटिव और लेजिस्लेचर भीतर पावर सेपरेशन हे नथिबो ताहले कोनटा हबो कि एग्जीक्यूटिव को लेजिस्लेचर कंट्रोल करि परिबोनी और जहां पाखरे एग्जीक्यूटिव पावर अछि ता पाखरे यदि जुडिशियल पावर भी आसी गला लेट अस से गवर्नमेंट एबे गोटे डिसीजन आने कि गवर्नमेंट पावर एग्जीक्यूटिव पावर अछि जुडिशियल पावर अछि से गोटे लॉ आनिला और फंडामेंटल राइट को बैन फंडामेंटल राइट को अबॉलिश कर देला ओके तबे जुडिशियल पावर भी अछि से जुडिशियल रिव्यू को भी माने कंट्रोल करि परिबो ओके कि जदि एग्जीक्यूटिव और जुडिशियरी पावर जदि जनक पाखर रहला ताले कोनटा हबो देयर कैन बी नो लिबर्टी ओके बिकॉज़ when the legislative and executive powers are united in the same person in the same body then there can be no liberty okay and the liberty and there is no liberty if judiciary is not separated from the legislative and executive power judiciary has to be independent इंडिया रे तुम जानि थियो बहुत सारा लेजिस्लेशन अछि जोडा जुडिशियरी स्टक डाउन करछि ओके जोडा कि वायोलेशन ऑफ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन करिछि ओके इवन अवर 1973 रो केशवानंद भारती जजमेंट हो ओके कि 1994 रो एसआर बोमाई जजमेंट हो ये सब जजमेंट बेसिस रे जुडिशियरी ट्राई करी कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन को प्रोटेक्ट करिया को हला एग्जीक्यूटिव ट्राई करी छि कि माने रूल्स रेगुलेशंस को बाईपास करिया पे जेटा से एसआर बोमाई केस रे कोनटा हेतला से माने स्टेट रे प्रेसिडेंस रूल लागू कर देला हला हेले जुडिशियरी कोनटा गला रीइंस्टेट कर देला और एसआर बोमाई जजमेंट रे गाइडलाइंस फॉर्मेशन कर देला हला कि ये गाइडलाइन अनुसार ही केवल आर्टिकल 356 हम स्टेट रे इंप्लीमेंट करि परिबा प्रेसिडेंट रूल लागू हे परिबा ओके कि केशवानंद भारती जजमेंट रे कोनटा हला बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर डॉक्ट्रिन आसिला हला बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर डॉक्ट्रिन आसिला तो सेथरे कोनटा हला जुडिशियरी माने गवर्नमेंट रो लेजिस्लेटिव पार्ट को लिमिट कर देला if any legislation which is violative of the ideas of the constitution that can be struck down. Okay, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So people have any kind of doubt regarding today's class? तो आज क्लास को नहीं किसी डाउट्स अछि आज क्लास केमती थिला
भल थिला सर
अच्छा तो हम अप्रोच एमती ही रखिबा तो नेक्स्ट
सर अपन पीडीएफ टा टिके देबे कहि दिले
सर सुप्रीम कोर्ट केसेस को नहीं कि गोटे क्लास करिवे कि आगो
करिबा हमें फर्स्ट अगर हमें प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चंस थोड़ा सॉल्व कर दबा ओके तापर हमें जिबा सब गोटे पार्ट गुडा कवर करिबा सुप्रीम कोर्ट रे मेजर लैंड रहला ओके केशवानंद भारती जजमेंट हला एसआर बोमाई हला रामेश्वर प्रसाद हला डीसी वाचा आईसी कोइलो बहुत सारा अछि जेटली इंपोर्टेंट जजमेंट्स अछि सब कवर हमें करिबा क्लासेस रे
सर प्लीज इसे एक्सप्लेन सिंगल ट्रांसफरेबल वोट कैसे कोई
सिंगल ट्रांसफरेबल वोट रे तम भव लेटर से चार जण कैंडिडेट रहले तमु गोटे वोट दियाला बैलेट दियाला ओके तमे एबे तर वोटिंग करछो को जणे कैंडिडेट को चूज करूछो राइट सेथे तमे जणे चूज कर परिबनी सेथे तमे चारि जण को प्रेफरेंस दबो हला लेटर से ए को तमे फर्स्ट प्रेफरेंस देलो बी को सेकंड प्रेफरेंस सी को थर्ड प्रेफरेंस डी को फोर्थ प्रेफरेंस हला एमदी तमे प्रेफरेंस देलो सेथे तमे को जण को चूज करलनी ओके तो तापर लेटस चेक फॉर एन एग्जांपल हमें 100 टा वोट धरा जो पोलिंग हेतला हला ए लेटर से 40 वोट पाइला बी पाइला 30 सी पाइला 20 और डी पाइला लेटर से 10 ओके तो डी सब लीस्ट वोट पाइला तो डी एबे रेस रो आउट हे गला ओके तो जत्ते जण डी को फर्स्ट प्रेफरेंस देथिबे निज वोट रे हला से वोट गुडा को ट्रांसफर हे जिवो अन्य मानको हला तो तांकर सेकंड प्रेफरेंस जहा को सब देथिबे से वोट गुडा को से मन पहु पळेबो हला लेटर से डी रो 10 टा वोट थिला ताकि लेटर से 5 टा वोट रे लोक माने ए को प्रेफरेंस देथिले सेकंड प्रेफरेंस देथिले तो डी रो 5 टा वोट पळे आसिला ए को ओके सेमथि अन्य मन पखु जिवो ओके तो लेटर से राउंड सरला तापर लेटर से हमें देखिलु कि सी सबटु लोएस्ट वोट पाइला सेमथि सी रो वोट गुडा ट्रांसफर हे जिवो ए और बी को ओके तो एथ्रु कोनटा हबो कि ए लेटर से इलेक्ट जतल हबो तापर कर मेजॉरिटी वोट रहबो डेफिनेटली से 50% रो एबव तार वोट रहिबो ओके जो भी प्रेफरेंस हो फर्स्ट सेकंड थर्ड जहां भी हो एटलीस्ट द पीपल हैव प्रिफर्ड हिम एज अ लीडर ओके तो प्रेसिडेंट रो इलेक्शन भी सेमती हुए हमारा सिंगल ट्रांसफरेबल वोट रे काने जेहेतु सी वाला कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अथॉरिटी हमें फर्स्ट पास द पोस्ट सिस्टम के प्रेसिडेंशियल इलेक्शन में नहीं परिबा नाही काने से होल ऑफ द इंडिया को रिप्रेजेंट करंती से को गोटे पर्टिकुलर पॉलिटिकल पार्टी को रिप्रेजेंट करंती नाही ओके तो सेमते इलेक्शन गुडा कर सिंगल ट्रांसफरेबल वोट यूज करा हुए इज इट क्लियर
यस सर
नहला बाकी इलेक्शन गुडा कर फर्स्ट पास द पोस्ट फॉलो करा हुए तो देखिथिबो इलेक्शन जतले रिजल्ट आसीथिबो जे विनर थिबो से हार्डली 35% वोट पे किसी विनर रेट दिए थिबो ओके कारण फर्स्ट पास्ट द पोस्ट जे सबटु बेसी वोट पहले सी जितला इन सिंगल ट्रांसफरेबल वोट होची मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द वोट ग्रेटर देन 50% हवा दरकार ओके
यस सर सर डिफरेंस ता कोई बारे कि सर एडल्ट फ्रेंचाइज और एडल्ट सरप्राइज मध्ये डिफरेंस ता कोन सर
नॉट श्योर अबाउट इट मत लागु छी सिमिलर हेतिबो नॉट श्योर
हेलो सर
हां
सर गोटे डाउट थिला सर जो पंचायत रे हमरो जो अकाउंट्स अछि अकाउंट रो एडिटिंग टा सर सेटा स्टेट फाइनेंसिंग कमिशन करिवो ना लेजिस्लेचर ऑफ द स्टेट करिवो
ऑडिट पार्ट फर्स्ट कथा केबे भी कोई लेजिस्लेचर करेनी ऑडिट में हमर इंडिपेंडेंट सीएजी अछि हला हेले एपर्यंत सेही पार्ट डाइसी रहिछ हला पंचायत को सीएजी ऑडिट करिवो कि कोन करिवो से पार्ट एपर्यंत सब जगह क्लियरली डिफाइंड हेनी कारण पंचायत राज जो स्टेट एक्ट गुडा रहउछ सब स्टेट को डिफर करूछ हला तार किछि यूनिफॉर्मिटी नै 73rd और 74th अमेंडमेंट गोटे ब्रॉड स्ट्रक्चर बनै दैछ ओके तो प्रति स्टेट में निजर निजर पंचायत एक्ट गुडा को बनै छथि एटा से साउथ इंडियन स्टेट्स केरला से माने हले से बहुत पावर डेलीगेट करछन पंचायत हले हमर नॉर्थ इंडियन स्टेट्स गुडा सन कम पावर डेलीगेट करछन तो डेफिनेटली ये मेकानिज्म गुडा स्टेट टू स्टेट डिफर करिवो गोटे फाइनेंशियल डिवोल्यूशन पे डेफिनेटली स्टेट फाइनेंस कमिशन अछि कि इलेक्शन कंडक्ट करे पे स्टेट इलेक्शन कमिशन अछि એટલે ऑडिटिंग मेकानिज्म स्टेट टू स्टेट डिफर करे कारण एटा कि छोटे मैंडेटरी प्रोविजन नै ओके
सर
नेक्स्ट
आंसर लेजिस्लेचर ऑफ स्टेट दे छै सटवे मु कंफ्यूज हे गेली जे
हां लेजिस्लेचर ऑफ स्टेट से तारो जहा माने करिवो काना एपर्यंत से माने सीएजी अंडर आसी ना ओके मे भी लेजिस्लेचर निजर जो बढिया ऑडिटिंग मेकानिज्म रखिथिबो ओके
ओके सर थैंक यू
सो हमर अप्रोच एमती ही रहिबो नेक्स्ट मो ट्राई करबी आउ तीनटा क्लास रे पॉलिटी सब प्रीवियस ईयर ओपीएससी रे सार देबा पे हमें खाली आंसर जस्ट रिमेंबर करिया पे सारीबानी ओके हमें ट्राई करबा कि तार बेसिक अंडरस्टैंडिंग टा भी बुझिबा पे ओके कहना खाली आंसर रोट लर्निंग करी किछि फायदा होबनी हमर तार कांसेप्चुअल अंडरस्टैंडिंग भी रहे दरकार कि सेमते टाइप रो किछि भी क्वेश्चंस आसले जेंते हम अटेम्प्ट करि परिबो तो यदि प्रीवियस ईयर यूपीएससी क्वेश्चंस देखिबो डेफिनेटली 4 और 5 क्वेश्चंस प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चन रो आसी ही थिबो हला तो प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चन बहुत ही वाइटल एटलीस्ट 4-5 क्वेश्चन तो डेफिनेटली आसे यदि सब टॉपिक तुम कवर करछो सिमिलर टाइप रो आसे सो आउ किछि हम क्लास रे किछि इंप्रूवमेंट्स करि परबा कि क्लासेस रे अप्रोचेस रे
सर पीपीटी टिके शेयर करिवे कि
सेटा हमर ऑनलाइन प्लेटफॉर्म रेडी हे गले समस्त को जेति क्लास रे मटेरियल्स रही छै सब शेयर करते हैं सॉरी एनीथिंग एल्स क्लासेस रे में कोन इंप्रूव करि परिबा ना अप्रोच ठीक अछि
क्वेश्चन आंसर
सर अप्रोच ठीक हो
अच्छा क्वेश्चन आंसर डिस्कशन रहला तो इंटरैक्टिव रहउछि मतलब कि पॉलिटी रो क्लैरिटी बेटर ही आसीबो हमें क्वेश्चन आंसर डिस्कस कले
यस
ना है कि हमें पैसिव रीडिंग कले हमें जेते क्वेश्चन प्रैक्टिस करे हमर सेते अंडरस्टैंडिंग बेटर हेबो सो पॉलिटी हो कि जो भी टॉपिक हो सेमती ही रहिबो ओके सो साबी कॉल इट अ डे
यस
सर आ गोटे टिके सर कैबिनेट कमिटी जो अछि जो मेजर लेवल 8टा कैबिनेट कमिटी अछि सर ता दरु फास्ट 3टा कैबिनेट कमिटी की प्राइम मिनिस्टर हेड करूचंदी जे बाकी जो कमिटी गुडी प्राइम मिनिस्टर जहा को चाहिए ताकू देई परिबे माने सेमति किछि गोटे कारण कैबिनेट कमिटी विषय तो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ने किछि भी नाही ओनली जहा अमेंडमेंट ही आछि
तो कैबिनेट कमिटी गोटे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल बॉडी नुहे ओके
Yes, sir.
सेटा एड
Yes.
हॉक बेसिस रे गोटे एग्जीक्यूटिव रिजोल्यूशन रे फॉर्मेशन करा हुए ओके तो डेफिनेटली सेतरे प्राइम मिनिस्टर एब्सोल्यूट पावर अछि से जहा माने प्राइम मिनिस्टर कम काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर तांकर से जहा चाहिए करि परिबे कारण सेतरे किछि क्लियरली डिलिनेटेड रूल्स नै हम कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन रे ओके
आमे कैबिनेट कमिटी गोट बहिरे लिखाई जे पार्लियामेंटरी सेक्रेटरी रहिबे किंतु वर्तमान तो पार्लियामेंट
सेक्रेटरी
जे वर्तमान तो सर जो मनकर क्वेश्चन आसिला सेतरे मनकर पार्लियामेंटरी सेक्रेटरी अछि बा पार्लियामेंटरी सेक्रेटरी नै आमे सर केमते आंसर ता देबो
सेटा मु टिके डिटेल रे देखि कि बैक करि ओके
यस थैंक यू सर
okay so salute sabi call it a day okay
यस सर
thank you all of you for your
Thank you, sir.
enthusiastic participation
thank you sir
and I
Thank
will
you, sir.
always solicit this kind of participation in all my classes
thank you sir
यस सर श्योर सर
Thank you, sir.